Hey everyone, happy New Year's. Welcome to my productivity setup for 2025. Today I'm going to be giving you a quick tour of basically how I've organized my workspace to be basically as efficient, fun as possible, and minimizing distractions, cables, as well as mouse usage and other more like heavyweight programs on my computer. So yeah, really excited to share that with you. Let's get started. So yeah, starting out, I've got my L desk, which is a perfect fit in this corner and houses my dual computer setup. I run a split working from home and personal computer setup, which I've found provides a strong divide between both my work and personal life. For typing, I use two Keychron K8 keyboards. The one paired with my work computer has cherry brown switches. On my personal PC is rocking cherry reds. Can't say really I have a preference for either. I find both to be really highly satisfying, very nice to work with. So although this setup has an overarching goal of minimizing mouse usage, there are still moments, obviously, when having a mouse is necessary. As such, on my personal computer, I'm using a Glorious Forge Centauri, and then on my work computer, I'm using a Logitech M510. Both mice are really nice to use. I'd say the really only tangible difference is I noticed that the Centauri is much lighter than the Logitech M510, but other than that, I don't really mind, and I've really enjoyed working with both mice. So yeah, for my monitors, which I've got 4 of which total, I've got 2 per computer. So yeah, for my personal computer, I've got 2 Samsung 144Hz monitors, and for my work computer, 2 60Hz MSI monitors. So I won't go into too much detail on my work computer. It's just a standard Windows machine. More on the fun stuff on my personal PC. I'm running Windows right now, but I'm actually planning to experiment with Linux very soon, as my computer's use case is super lightweight, and the only really Windows dependency I have is on the Adobe suite. As I said, my personal needs for this machine are pretty simple. I basically just use it for video creation, chess, and trying to beat my typing record on Monkey Type. But yeah, as far as the actual specs for the machine, I tried to balance cost with performance, and I believe I've ended up with a decent rig that suits my needs. I've chucked a few of the specs up on the screen now, but if you'd like the full details, feel free to just flick me a message and I can chuck them to you. So yeah. As far as my phone goes, I won't preview it now. I'm currently in the process of making changes to its setup. The overarching goal of it going into 2025 is just to use it as minimally as possible, and then getting into the actual software on my computer. As I said, I like to keep it pretty minimal, lightweight programs. One of my favorite tools to use on the computer is Microsoft Power Toys, which I'm using to basically just enhance my Windows experience and make it feel a little bit more Linux-like. As far as my terminal goes, I'm using the Windows terminal with Windows Subsystem with a few additional packages installed to provide a little bit of extended functionality. If you're interested in how or what these changes are and how you can do this on your own Windows machine, just let me know in the comments. I'd be really keen to actually make a video on this. So yeah, for coding, I have a bit of a split workflow. NeoVim's my go-to for short tasks, quick edits, tests, etc. For larger or more full projects, I like to use VS Code. As far as note-taking, I'm currently using Google Docs, but I'm thinking that I'm slightly outgrowing it now as I'm coming into 2025. So I'm planning a move to Obsidian this year, as I think it would probably suit my use case much better. So expect an update on that soon. For cloud storage, I'm currently using Google Drive. I'd really like to break my addiction to cloud storage, explore possibly more self-hosted, decentralized solutions. So yeah, if you've got any recommendations, let me know in the comments. I'm open to ideas. So cool. When it comes to web browsing, I'm using Chrome. However, I think that once I make a switch to Linux, I'll probably use something like Firefox. On my current Chrome, I've got an extension called Vimium, which if you haven't heard of it, it basically gives you Vim style key bindings for navigating the web and basically aids in moving around without a mouse. If you haven't tried it, it's a real game changer. And if you're into trying to reduce the mouse in your daily workflow, then I'd really recommend it. So for audio, I'm actually using the Blue Yeti microphone right now to record. I think it's really reliable, delivers great sound quality, and works well for video recordings. And as far as my speakers go, currently using the Logitech Z150s, which I found provide like really adequate sound quality, volume at a really competitive price point. So yeah, definitely recommend those. Yeah, I have 2 pairs of headphones. One is the WH-1000 XM4 and then the XM5. So I use the XM5s as basically like my commuting and office gym headphones. And while I can definitely recommend the actual hardware, I really truly believe from the bottom of my heart that Sony's UX UI leaves a lot to be desired. I think their app has quite a few shortfalls, a lot of really inconsistent settings. So yeah, not too much of a fan. I can highly recommend the hardware, possibly not the software. On the XM4s, the charging port's actually actually broken, and thus they only really function as wired headphones, but that makes it perfect for being used in my DJ setup. So yeah, the last part of my setup is my 2017 MacBook Air and my DJ controller. So on the MacBook Air, I recently replaced the battery. It's currently my go-to machine for music and DJing. Yeah, but in 2025, I actually have plans to turn it into a dual development machine and DJ system, which should be a fun project. Expect a video on that possibly in the near future. So yeah, for my DJ controller, I'm using the Denon MC7000. I'd highly recommend it as a cost-effective 4-channel controller. It's got all the relevant bells and whistles, and I've had a really great time using it. I've had it for a couple years now, so yeah, would highly recommend it. Sweet, so yeah, wrapping up, that's my 2025 productivity setup. Really keen to revisit this video next year, provide any updates on changes I've made to the setup, as well as any new gear I've picked up. If you've got any questions about the gear or any of the software I mentioned, feel free to just drop them in the comments. And yeah, thanks all. Cheers.